masks. So that is a backtracking, not a complete U-turn. There'll still be a row about this, and the Prime Minister will be accused of pandering to the Tory right.
The average household will now have to fork out an extra £700 as the energy price cap goes up by 50% from today. It'll increase annual typical bills to around £2,000. Meanwhile, the national living wage is rising to £9.50 now today. People are being urged to keep wearing masks and test for COVID regularly, despite the end of free lateral flow kits in England from today. Only high-risk groups won't have to pay, but Professor David Nabarro, the World Health Organisation's COVID envoy, reckons we need to be vigilant.
We cannot deal with this pandemic if we don't know who's got the disease and if we don't use the techniques that work well to prevent it. This is not a trivial disease. Remember, 1 in 20 people get long COVID, and long COVID makes people unwell for quite a long time.
Elsewhere in the UK, free kits are being gradually phased out or limited to those with symptoms. A 90-year-old man's died in what appears to be a gas explosion in Greater Manchester. He was found inside a property with Withenshaw last night. And we're waiting to see how this is going to cut gas supplies to Milton call for energy to be paid in rubles instead of other currencies. Germany's calling it blackmail. The producer of the Oscars ceremony says police were prepared to arrest Will Smith for slapping Chris Rock. Packard says officers didn't take action because the comic chose not to press charges. From Sky News, I'm Tim Jones.
Sports Update. I'm Nick Ellaby. Yorkshire members have overwhelmingly voted in favour of reforms at the club, meaning Headingley can host major internationals this summer. The changes were ordered by the ECB following the club's mishandling of Azim Rafiq's racism allegations. These members spoke outside Headingley following the vote.
One person said there were a few old, grumpy white men who were trying to spoil the proceedings.
The main stumbling block is that a lot of members think it's not going to be a members club like it used to be.
There was a fairly frank discussion, but overall I felt it was a very good meeting and a good way forward for Yorkshire County Cricket.
Azim Rafiq's tweeted to say he's relieved Yorkshire members chose a bright, inclusive future for the club. Mikel Arteta is happy the Premier League will get in line with other European leagues in allowing 5 subs, rules coming in on a permanent basis from next season. Arteta says it will help players manage the load.
Make sure we don't slow the game down too much, and I think it's good. It gives players the opportunity to be on the pitch, which is what they want to do.
Jesse Marsh says he's felt handcuffed, only having 3 options on the bench, and it will help his aggressive lead side.
I've heard the argument that, yeah, the better teams have better rosters, but there's also the argument that the better teams have a better 11. So, the better teams are better.
Premier League's also confirmed the summer transfer window will open on the 10th of June and close on the 1st of September, also in line with other European leagues. And Arsenal have gone out of the Women's Champions League, losing to Wolfsburg in the quarter-finals. The lineup for the semis is now completely on to face PSG. Wolfsburg have the difficult task of playing defending champions Barcelona.
Across the UK, overnight with Paul Ross.
Friends, it is of course TalkSport and Talk Radio, the overnight show. Extra time with me, Paul Ross, and Alex Irons this morning, our top producer. Alex is with us all next week as well, because Sam Stevens, our regular producer, is off for a few days doing his latest theatrical production up near Bedford, where kind of Night of Cabaret songs. So we expect reports on that. We also expect football reports throughout the weekend from our brilliant return of Game Day Live. Tomorrow it all starts once again. Some amazing matches on the way coming up for you. Tomorrow, of course, Liverpool versus Watford, 12:30 on TalkSport. 3 o'clock, Chelsea versus Brentford. Man United versus Leicester. We've also got Hull versus Huddersfield tonight, of course, in the Championship, and I think it's Blackpool versus Nottingham Forest, 12:30 tomorrow as well. Another big game, and then a Sunday, 3rd of April, Sutton versus Rotherham, Papa John's Trophy final at Wembley. That's an exclusive TalkSport 2 game. The only place you'll hear that on the radio, Papa John's Trophy final, Sutton versus Rotherham, is on the TalkSport network. 3 o'clock kick-off presented by Dan Windle. And I mentioned the dates because you spotted something rather special from today's day in history in the newspapers back in the day, involving, of all people, I think it might have even been a front-page story, Sir Alex Ferguson, formerly, as we all know, Man United manager.
It was on this day, the 1st of April 2011. There was a shock when the Sun newspaper reported that Alex Ferguson had agreed to
promised to serve as an ambassador for referees and their assistants and would try not to criticise their performances after matches, of course, and the date was noticed.
Well, see, I've noticed the date as well, and I think some of our listeners have, but they're saying the story you've got coming up, Paul, about the woman who speaks pig language is an April Fool's. I can assure you it's absolutely not. We've genuinely, and Alex will confirm this, we've launched no April Fool's games on this show, have we? We haven't launched a single April Fool's spoof on this programme.
Not yet, we haven't.
No, you haven't, and we've got time. Well, we have got time, but you kind of think, leave that to other shows. We've not launched one guaranteed. The woman who's been studying for years the meaning behind the grunts, oinks and that pigs make is on the programme in about half an hour's time, in fact. We've got Russ Hargreaves, no relation to that story, talking rugby and golf for that. But I believe I've spotted a couple of April Fool's spoofs in the papers. I think Alex has spotted one as well. And mine is in the Sun straight away. I've got this one. It's on page 23. Two things on this one. Piers Morgan now writes for the Sun newspaper, and I think he's also going to be one of the faces in the big relaunch of Talk TV, as you know. So I think he's up there with the kind of, he's our USP. He's gone from GMB to Talk TV. Move over Lord Nelson is the headline in the Sun today. It's virtually the whole page story. Piers' statue for Trafalgar Square sparks woke row. They're calling it Morgan's column. Okay, and he's writing a column for the Sun newspaper. They say a row broke out last night of a plan to erect a 10-foot statue of antique warrior Piers Morgan in Trafalgar Square. The sculpture of the larger-than-life Sun columnist will sit on the fourth plinth opposite Nelson's column. Organisers said it was intended to provoke a debate on free speech. Piers, 57, star of Talk TV show Piers Morgan Uncensored, said the world's best columnist will be alongside the world's most famous column. I suspect that is an April Fool's gag inside today's Sun newspaper.
I have a feeling it might be. There's one here in the Star that says Piers Morgan says he's aged like a fine wine after turning 58. I don't know if that's true.
He's turned 58, and I think he's trying to make light of the fact he's knocking on a bit, as we all are, of course. I think there's another one you spotted involving all things the Cray brothers, which it may or may not be April Fool's, but it's a very strange story.
It's a very weird story, and it also follows. It's accompanied by a picture that looks very badly photoshopped, saying with the headline "Ronnie and Veggie" on page 3 of the Daily Star. Gangsters double seen shopping in Asda. A Ronnie Cray double was spotted shopping for fruit and veg. The dead ringer for the gangster, with Ronnie's style, slicked back hair, specs and smart clothes, was seen browsing in an Asda branch. One shopper posted a picture of the lookalike online and wrote, Ronnie Cray is alive and well and shopping in Asda. I think if he was alive and well, he wouldn't be shopping in Asda. And
if he's alive and well, he's very badly photoshopped. Would he still be in Brawl Ball or something?
Yes, exactly.
And also, but I wonder where the spoof element of that is, because sometimes people do post those looky-likey pictures on YouTube or on TikTok and stuff. So if that is their spoof, then Alex has spotted it. I'm pretty sure this is a spoof. Now, there is a food company that sells for human beings food in boxes to help you manage your weight, manage what you're eating. It's called Gusto, as in Gusto, but
yes.
Gusto with an OU. So you spell with Gusto, it's they spell it G-O-U-S-T.
I think still pronounces Gusto. I'm not sure.
Okay, I about your greater knowledge on that one, but I'm pretty sure they don't provide Gusto meals in boxes for hamsters, nor even for dogs, or for cats. I know you're a big cat lover. There's the photograph of it with a hamster. Okay, and they're saying meals on hamster wheels. Meal kits hit the spot with stay-at-home diners in lockdown, but today it's the nation's pets that are being tempted with gourmet grub in a box. Chefs at retailer Gusto worked with vets to dish up top tucker driven to your door for animal companions. They say the Floofs 2 home delivery range, where Floofs 2 comes from, I don't know, will satisfy hungry hamsters, fine dining felines, and set any shaggy dog tail shaking with happiness. Lucky first customers will receive their initial batch before noon today. And the spokesperson, Noon Today, says, spokesperson Joe Keane said, today is the perfect launch day. We have spotted an unbelievable gap in the market. Only a fool would turn their noses up. Today is the day that only a fool is April. That's the April Fool's Spoof in the Express right there, I think. It's quite a good one, that is.
So going back to this Ronnie
and Veggie.
Yeah, apparently he was spotted in Asda in Beckton, in East London. So if that's true, I'm going to camp outside and see if he's actually real.
Yeah, I mean,
not that far away.
Beckton's over in kind of Isle of Dogs way, isn't it, I think, below?
Yeah, it's by East London University. It's over that.
By the end. So if you've seen Ronnie Cray out and about in Beckton, you're not approaching. It's a bit away from his old stomping ground. That was, I think, more Bethnal Green, the Blind Beggar Pub's Bethnal Green, Whitechapel Road, I think, isn't it? So if you spotted any kids yourself, you can share us with them as well. I'm not too sure about. I mean, I think it may be their one, but it's kind of one was without a punchline, isn't it, Ronnie and Veggie?
Queen's speech with their belly full of Christmas dinner.
Yeah, exactly. That's same for the fish when you overfeed them. They're watching the Queen's speech and not wanting to get flushed down the toilet, which I'm pretty sure most of us wouldn't want to have.
No.
So we've had
Let's face it, after a Christmas dinner, even if you need a big old loo to flush it in the middle, it's a scary thing to do. But for a more serious story, I was watching in today's Times newspaper, and it kind of carries on from the debate. We heard a little bit from Nick Ellerby about the kind of reservations about Qatar, still reservations on human rights basis about Qatar hosting the World Cup, a kind of bite back from the Qatari and FIFA authority as well. This might give us pause for thought as well. Involvement around in today's Times newspaper. Female football fans pepper sprayed a match, and they write that Iranian women were pepper sprayed by security guards as they tried to enter a football stadium to watch a World Cup qualifier, fueling calls for FIFA to ban Iran from the tournament. Now, these weren't women trying to gate crash it without tickets. They say about 2,000 women and girls refused entry despite having tickets for Iran's crucial match against Lebanon in Mashhad in the northeast of the country. Videos show large numbers of women protesting at the gates of the Imam Reza Stadium, locked out despite having tickets. Others were pepper sprayed by security guards. The country's football association and their federation blamed the women and said that their presence could have caused a crisis because necessary facilities had not been provided. Complaints and questions about this later provoked a backtracking by the organisation involved, who now are saying they're now apologising to those hurt and barred from the match. Iran defeated Lebanon 2-0 in the game on Tuesday, securing their place in the World Cup finals tournament in Qatar, beginning November the 21st. The regime has claims to have allowed women to watch football since 2019 after it was threatened by FIFA suspension. A female fan, though, had set herself on fire because she feared being jailed for watching the match dressed as a man. The relaxation has been patchy, however, and in the few instances where women have been allowed to the stadium, they've been entered through their own gates and sat separate from the men. They weren't even allowed yesterday into a FIFA-sanctioned and controlled event, and yet they're still playing in the World Cup, despite being threatened previously. Now, I'm not saying FIFA has to kind of crack down on Iran just because it's Iran, but that behaviour alone would mean surely they've abdicated their right to be in the World Cup, haven't they? Women with tickets, FIFA saying if you don't let women in, we'll buy you for the World Cup. We're letting women in. You weren't yesterday, matey boy, and yet they've now won their way through. It just seems to be absolutely hypocritical.
Yeah, it's the same kind of issue with the whole Saudi Arabia thing, really. Just, their standards are really seen the same as Western standards, and it is a big shame. I know I've heard there's like a big kind of contingency of Iranian women that do enjoy football, as women do all over the world. And speaking of the Arsenal fan that wanted to know what the Arsenal score was in the Women's Champions League final, it was 2-0 away at Wolfsburg. It is a massive shame. It's, you want to see equality everywhere, and it's a fight that is going to go on for a very, very long time, not just this country, but in countries with a lot stricter regimes, as Saudi Arabia, where it's all out monarchy, and Iran is not that much different. Of course, they have the same kind of religious kind of issues there. So of course, we want to see everyone kind of treated equally and everything. That's not really the same in every other country in the world.
The story goes on to say the violence went unreported, no surprise there, on state television. But Reza Jahan Baksh, former Brighton Hove Albion winger, who was a star for the national team, said in a live post message, the key word is live, I hope that from now on, during home matches, our dear women can spectate so we can make them happy as well. His comment was edited out of repeat broadcasts, but now FIFA have said they're going to investigate this, and the Asian Football Confederation are also concerned about the violence. Neither, though, will elaborate, so watch this space on that particular story. I'm sure there'll be comment and discussion about that through the day today. And we've got, of course, the big World Cup draw today. We know who Iran are going to be facing.
Who would you like England to have in the World Cup?
I'm not even sure who else is in pot one.
Pot one: Qatar, Brazil, Belgium, France, Argentina, Spain, and Portugal. So we can't play those teams.
Okay, we can't play those teams. We can't get anybody else, but we can't get the home nation Qatar, right?
We can't. Pot two: Mexico, Holland, Denmark, Germany, Uruguay, Switzerland, the US, and Croatia.
We beat Denmark to get to the Euros final.
So Germany, the quarters.
I wouldn't mind Denmark and save Germany for further down the line. We beat them convincingly as well.
Pot three: Senegal, Iran, Japan, Morocco, Serbia, Poland, South Korea, and Tunisia.
Can we play pot three then?
We play one team from each pot.
Okay, so Senegal maybe. Just the entertaining side, Senegal.
Pot four, it gets a bit more interesting. Cameroon, Canada, Ecuador, Saudi Arabia, and Ghana are the ones who are already confirmed. Wales, Scotland, or Ukraine, Costa Rica, or New Zealand, or Peru, Australia, or the United Arab Emirates.
I don't mind Canada. They've been playing for a good few years.
They've not been in the World Cup since '86.
That's right. And we talked to a Canadian broadcaster about that earlier this week. So I think Canada will give us a kind of satisfaction
England Rugby.
Let's get ready to rumble! Come on, treble your first goal scorer odds with Betfred's Double Delight and Hat-Trick Heaven. Available on all Premier League games this season, in-store or online. Passionate about sport? Then Betfred! Pre-match single bets only. Placable as specified. DDHH first goal scorer market. Any 2021-22 Premier League game fulfilled in real cash and credited with settlement of the first goal scorer market. 90 minutes only. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
At Dulux Decorator Centre, we're here for the early risers and the late picker-uppers, for the big job teams and the one-woman bands, for the online click and collectors and the face-to-faces. Whether you're a colour connoisseur or a 5-star review chaser, we're here for you non-stop with all you need to do the best job. Just like we've been here for all our customers for over 100